My name is Asad Yaqub and I am your IELTS speaking examiner. Are you ready to take your IELTS speaking test? Okay, let's take a start. Do you study or do you do any job? Well, I am a student and I'm studying at the moment. Let's talk about your hometown. Where is your hometown? My hometown is Lahore, and Lahore is in Pakistan. It's a provincial capital of Punjab and it's very close to Indian border. Can you describe the area you come from? I come from Lahore, Kent. It's cantonment area. It's actually the beautiful area and very peaceful area, and the locality where I live, that is very nice locality. Everything is good. There is a beautiful park near my house, and this area is the posh area of my country, and especially in my city this area is quite popular. What facilities are there in your area for children or teenagers? Well, for children and teenagers, the first facility is park. There is a separate park for children. They can go there and they can enjoy the swings. There are many beautiful swings there and there are very nice rides, so children can go and enjoy. For teenagers, there is a nice playground in the same park where in the morning or in the evening teenagers can come and they can play football, they can play some other games, and there is a nice track for jogging as well, so teenagers can do jogging too over there. And in the same park there is a beautiful gym also, so if teenagers want to take any exercise, if they want to do any bodybuilding, they can do that as well. Is it a place where tourists go? Yes, Lahore is a city where a lot of tourists come, and nowadays tourists are not coming because of some reasons, but it's a nice place for tourists. There are many historical places in my city. We've got a beautiful mosque, we've got a beautiful castle here, we've got a beautiful fort as well, and the city itself is quite historic, so there are many places for the tourists, and that's why tourists come here as well. Now let's talk about how you travel. How do you get to school, college or work? Well, I get to my work using my own conveyance. I've got my personal car, so wherever I want to go, regularly I commute from my home to my office, so I go there in my personal car, and whenever I need to travel, I just take out my car and I can go with my family or alone quite easily. But if I need to travel from one city to another one, then I use public transport. Do you travel alone or with friends? I usually travel alone because I have to travel from my home to my workplace, so for that I travel alone. And if I go anywhere for excursion, for enjoyment, then I travel with my friends as well. Like once a year we go to northern areas, so there I travel with my friends. What do you do during your journey? During my journey, the first thing I do is I turn on the radio because I love listening to FM radio. So whenever I'm traveling, at the same time I turn on the radio and then I see if there is any nice program, if there is any nice song. If the songs are there, then I listen to the songs. Sometimes there are some talk shows on the radio, so I listen to the talk shows. And sometimes there are some informative programs, and if it is o'clock, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, then I prefer listening to the news while I'm driving my car. Do you ever have any problems with your transport? Yes, sometimes I do have problem with my transport as well. I mean, if I'm traveling in my own car, so sometimes it can go out of order, it can break down as well. Then I need to call the mechanic. On the other hand, if I prefer or if I travel by public transport, so there can be certain problems. I mean, the availability of public transport, that's an issue. Then the time of the public transport, that is another issue. So there are certain problems which are related to that. How could your journey be improved? Well, my journey can be improved. I mean, if you talk about my personal journey in my own car, it can be improved if I buy another car, because I'm thinking about changing my car. So if I change and if I buy another better car, then my journey can be improved. And if I'm traveling from one city to another city, if they improve the public transport system, then my journey can improve and journey can be a good experience for me as well. I can enjoy the journey too. We now move on to IELTS speaking part 2. Here is the cue card with the topic, and here is paper and pencil. You can jot down some notes about the topic if you want to, and you have 1 minute for that. After 1 minute you will have to speak on the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Your time starts now. Okay, let's take a start. You'll now have to speak on this topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Well, a typical day in my life when I was in early teens, my typical day used to start early in the morning with the voice of my mother, and then I used to get ready for my school. Then I used to go to school, and then I would return from school, and after that I used to have my lunch in a typical day when I was a teenager. And after that, towards the afternoon, I used to go for tuition. I mean, that was my typical routine during a typical day when I was a teenager. And after the tuition, I mean the private tuition, I used to go to the park where I used to play with my friends, and I used to spend time there along with my friends. And we used to play sometimes cricket, sometimes badminton, or sometimes we used to sit there and we used to chat. And that was what I used to do during a typical day. Towards the evening, I used to watch TV, and then at around 10 p.m. I used to go to bed because the next day I used to have school again. So that's why my mother used to put me to sleep at around 10 p.m. I felt very good about some things I had to do when I was a teenager in my typical day, and some of the things I felt very bad about them. Especially waking up early in the morning was a big issue for me, and I felt very bad about waking up early in the morning. But I felt very good when I used to play with my friends, when I used to spend time with my friends, and I used to feel very well when I used to watch TV, because at 8 p.m. I used to watch my favorite TV program, so I used to feel very good. But again, I used to feel very bad when my mother used to switch off the TV, and when my mother used to put me to bed to sleep, so I used to feel very bad. So there was a mixture of feelings. Some activities of my typical day I used to feel very good, and some activities I used to feel very bad. The best part of the day for me was the time I used to spend with my friends, and the worst part of the day was early morning when I used to wake up and I used to get ready for school. I used to wear my uniform, and especially going to school was the worst part, I would say, attending all the classes and all that. So going to school, getting up early in the morning, that was the worst part of my typical day, and meeting friends and enjoying with them, that was the best part of my teenage. Now let's move on to IELTS speaking part 3. In what way is the relationship between parents and teenagers different from the relationship between parents and younger children? Well, I would say the relationship between parents and younger children, that is entirely different as compared to the relationship between parents and teenagers. Younger children, they are dependent. They depend on their parents for everything, and because they are small and they don't know much about life, and they are not very much independent as well, that's why they are depending a lot on their parents, and they are under the influence and full control of their parents. On the other hand, teenagers, because they've grown up and they've come up to the age, so they are a little more independent. They can manage their daily life without the help of their parents. That's why they depend less, and they want more freedom, and they are given certain freedom as well. So I think as far as the relationship of parents with teenagers, that relationship is concerned, that is quite frank relationship. Teenagers are really independent in their activities, and parents also give them freedom. On the other hand, to young children, parents need to control, they need to pamper them, they need to take good care of them, and they have to help them with their everyday activities, with their daily life activities too. So this is the difference. What causes the more arguments between parents and teenagers? Well, I think the big reason, or one of the main reasons for any argument between parents and teenagers, that can be the generation gap. Because the youngsters, they are the next generation, and parents, they are the previous generation. So because of the generation gap, there can be the difference in opinion. Their thoughts are different, their values are different, their preferences are different, and the main thing is the way they think about it. I think that causes some arguments between parents and teenagers, and both have got their own point of view, they've got their own standpoint, they've got their own thinking style. So that's why there can be some arguments between the teenagers and the parents. Do teenagers have more independence in your country than they used to? Yes, I think. I think teenagers now, they have more independence as compared to the past. In the past, teenagers, they were literally controlled by their parents, and the parents, they had full command, full control over their kids even when they were teenagers as well. But now, because of media, teenagers are mature. I mean, whenever they are teenagers, even they are mature, and they are demanding more from their parents. They are demanding more freedom. They are demanding more facilities from their parents. So just because of that, they've got more independence. And I think the main reason is media. Because of media, teenagers have got more independence, because in the media they see teenagers enjoying their life with friends. They see teenagers going outside on trips, and because of the schools now, modern schools, they also allow teenagers for excursions outside the city as well. So I think they demand more independence, and they are actually given that independence too. Who are the role models for teenagers in your country? Well, it depends, because it all depends. In my country there's a variety, but mainly if there are the young kids, for them the role models are their parents, because parents are the best role model when they are kids. And when they are teenagers, the sportsmen, they are a good role model. If somebody likes cricket, the cricket players are role model. If somebody watches movies, the film stars are role model. If somebody loves music, then the musicians or singers, they are the role models. So I think, and there are some religious personalities as well who are role models as well. But it depends actually. It depends on your interest, and according to your interest, some people like politicians as well. Politicians are their role models as well if they like politics. So it depends actually. The role models, they vary according to what you like, and according to what you do, and according to age group as well. Do you think they are good ones? I think some role models are really good ones. Why not? I mean, we can still find many good role models, especially in the world of sports. We can find good role models in the world of education. We can find good role models, and in the field of literacy, in the field of education and technology even, we can find very good role models. And we've got certain role models in the field of business as well. I mean, there are some business tycoons, and they earned a lot of money, and they are very good role models for the people to come. And there are some IT experts as well. They are very good role models. So yes, we do have very nice role models. That is the end of your IELTS speaking test. I wish you a fantastic day. Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you very much. You too have a lovely day. Thanks a lot.